Hello friends, welcome to Efficient Learning World. So today we are going to learn about organogram. I will explain you each and everything about organogram, that what is organogram, why we use organogram, what is the organogram term basically, and I will also explain you the examples of organogram in this video. So make sure to subscribe Efficient Learning World. So without wasting any more time, so let's start our video about organogram. So if I give you an example of organogram, so let's suppose that you are working in a company and different people's work in the company, like per different employees, the CEO, the boss, the marketing head, the chairman, the vice president, different people's work in the company. So to represent their relationship and their relative ranks, we use a term, a graphical term, no graphical representation known as called organogram, and sometimes also called organogram. Okay, so basically an organogram is a graphical representation of an organization structure. It is used to show hierarchical relationship between manager and the people who report to them, as well as the department. People can be the employees, the marketing manager. Okay, so different manager heads can be the people, the employees can be the people. Okay, and the department like marketing department or and finance department, different departments like this. Okay, so to represent their relationship with each other and their relative ranks, we use a graphical representation also known as called organogram term. For the organogram term is mostly often used in United Kingdoms, and it is also synonymous with organizations chart. Okay, so it is sometimes also called organogram. So if someone asks you about organogram, so it is same like organogram. Okay, it is another name for organogram. Organogram is also known as called organization chart and organogram as well. So let me give you an example of this organogram. So let's suppose there is a chairman. So under this chairman, a manager director is working, and under this manager directing, different people's work, like technical operational department work, people work. Okay, sales and monitoring department, and financial department, and overseas department as well. So different departments are under the manager director, and manager director is controlling all of these. Okay, so so what you see, that to represent the relationship between all of these, to relate relative ranks between all of them, we use a graphical terms known as, you can also say that straight lines, we use to represent the relationship. So this is a graphical representation in short. Okay, so this is also known as called organogram, also known as called hierarchical relationship between them. So it is just a diagram that shows the structure of an organization and how the various positions are relative to each other. Like manager director is working under the chairman, so you can say that chairman is the boss, and chairman is the head of manager director, and manager director is working under the chairman. So you see, to represent the relative ranks between them, we use a hierarchical representation, and this relationship representation is also known as called organogram. Okay, so it is used to represent the chain of command and relative ranking of various positions in an organization or department. Organogram is in a intuitive reflection of an organization structure, one of the most common diagrams to illustrate the relationship amongst departments, superiors, and subordinate vividly and briefly. Okay, so what I explained you, that organogram in short is a graphical representation. Okay, so it's sometimes also called organogram. It is just used to represent the relative ranks between part positions and jobs, the different employees working in an organization or company. Okay, so for example, this is a hierarchical representation of a company. So first of all, the head of the department, the okay, so under the head of the department, the assistant is working. Okay, head of department also have some sort of assistants. Okay, assistant manager, and under the assistant manager, manager 1, manager 2, and manager 3 are working, and furthermore manager is controlling the division, and division is also controlling the overview. So this is simply a hierarchical relationship, and to represent this hierarchical relationship, we also known as, this is also known as called organogram. Another example, for example, there is a company who in this company, for example, this is a you can say that this is a department hierarchical relationship. Okay, so this you can see, so first of all management team, and then assistant managers, then kitchen manager and finance manager, restaurant manager, and human resource department director. Okay, so under the restaurant manager, the waiter is working, and the cashier also. Okay, so restaurant manager is responsible for waiter working and cashier working. So if waiter and cashier feel some sort of problems, then they will directly report to the restaurant manager, and restaurant manager will directly report to the assistant manager. An assistant manager can report to the management team, or also known as called head of the department or head of the restaurant as well. So cashier cannot directly report to the management team because he is working under the restaurant manager. Restaurant manager is responsible for working of waiter and cashier. If waiter and cashier make some so you can say that make some mistakes, then the people will call the restaurant manager and report to him. Okay, so and restaurant manager is and assistant manager is responsible for the working of all of these: kitchen manager, finance manager, restaurant manager, and human resource director. And assistant director manager, if say he face some sort of problems and difficulties, then he can directly report to the management team also. Okay, so another example, for example, in a company you can say there is always a CEO, like Mark Zuckerberg is a CEO of the Facebook. Okay, so let's suppose this he is a CEO, and under CEO different president, like vice president of finance, who is managing all of the finance of the company, like profit loss, etc. He is facing he is controlling, he is responsible for all of these finance management. Okay, so he is the head of the finance department. Okay, so another marketing president, vice president, another vice president of manufacturing, responsible for product management manager and management maintenance supervisor. Okay, so this is the, you can say that it is organogram. It is just a diagram that shows the structure of an organization and the relationship and relative ranks of its parts and positions jobs. Okay, so you can see this is the hierarchical representation. Okay, so organogram is a diagram that shows how an organization is structured and how the positions in the organization are related to each other. So to represent their hierarchical representation, we use a graphical representation, also known as called organogram. So in an Excel, so moving towards the purposes of creating an organogram, it displays the function division. Okay, you can see here we divide all the parts, all the departments heads. So this is organogram purpose, allows people to know whether right and responsibility are set properly or not. Okay, so for example, if junior account face some sort of problem, he can directly report to the chief accountant, and chief accountant can report to the vice president, and vice president is responsible for all of these working. Okay, so if vice president needs some talk and some sort of decisions, he can directly ask to the CEO, he can directly contact to the CEO. Okay, so tell if someone is under overweight with workload, assist people in finding if there is a someone undertaking relevant work and staying idle, help managers to identify if some talented workers have not been able to draw out the best in themselves, help manager to notice if some unqualified person holds an important position. Okay, so these are some of important purposes of creating an organogram. Okay, so if I give you an example, so without organogram, the company's employees information will be stored in some this type of structure. Okay, so for example, these are some employees, like these are, or in these information you can say the employees, the head manager, the manufacturer manager, the finance manager, all information are collectively stored in some Excel sheet. Okay, so some this is an example of, you can say, a database example. So this is a little bit difficult for you to understand that who is the manager, who is the CEO, who is the boss, who is the employees, who is the restaurant manager. So it is a little bit difficult, so that is why we use organogram term. Okay, because if without organogram term, you see the in organogram term we use a graphical representation, and this there is a no graphical representation here, so it is a little bit confusing and difficult for user to understand that who is the manager, who is the CEO, who is the boss of the company. So to, in short, you can say to show the relationship between all of these relative ranks and the employees working in a company, we use the relationship graphical representation, that is also known as called organogram. Okay, so you can see this is a little bit easier, that this is whenever someone will see this slide, then he can easily say that this the person, this is CEO, under this CEO vice president finance is working, vice president marketing is working, vice president manufacturing is working. But this is a little bit confusing, that to recognize that who is the CEO, who is the marketing manager, who is the finance department. So that is why we use organogram. So organogram is just a graphical representation that shows the relationship between the different departments, you can say different employees working in an organization. So that is why we use organogram, okay, also known as sometimes called organigram. And in this video we will see that what is organogram. And organogram, it is just a diagram that shows how an organization is structured and how the positions in the organization are related to each other, like who is responsible for whose work. Okay, so like CEO for is controlling all of these company decisions, important decisions. Okay, so vice president finance is responsible for all of the decisions making for by chief accountant and junior. Okay, so if chief accountant and junior will face some if junior will face some problem, he will directly report to the chief accountant. And if chief accountant feels some sort of problems, then he can directly report to the vice president. The junior accountant cannot contact directly to the CEO. So this is a graphical representation that shows the relationship, the relative ranks of its parts. So in this video we see that what is organogram, why we use organogram, what is the uses of organogram, how your organogram makes over you can say that easiness to understand that who is the CEO, who is the company employees. So thanks for watching this video. If you find any ambiguity and confusion in this video, you can ask me in the comment section. I will definitely reply you.